Hi, I'm Darlene Panzera, author of sweet contemporary and Christian historical fiction. And today I'm going to be talking about how I came up for the idea for the novella Golden Horizons. This novella was originally titled Hearts Sewn With Love and included in the Sew in Love collection by Barbour Publishing. I had a friend ask if I would like to join a group to put together a proposal of novellas. There were going to be about 4 in the collection, to pitch it to the publishers. And I said, sure, I'd love to be in. And we decided that all of the heroines in each of the stories would be seamstresses. And the stories were going to be Christian historical, and they would take place between 1850 and 1920. And so we all picked a different region of the United States, a different time period, and came up with 4 individual stories that were going to be put together in one collection. The proposal was accepted and was published as Sew in Love. And now for the first time, I can release my novella as a single edition. So we created a brand new cover for it, and I decided to change the title from Hearts Sewn to Love to Golden Horizons because I felt that it better reflected the story. I came up with the idea for Golden Horizons when I was researching another book idea, and I heard about the California Gold Rush. What I learned was that women who ventured out west could open their own businesses. This wasn't something that was typically allowed on the East Coast, but out west there were very few women. And so this was a privilege that they could take advantage of. And a lot of the women during the California Gold Rush made a lot of money. Some of them were washing and mending clothes for the gold miners, and others were selling hand pies. And many of these women made more money than the gold miners actually panning for gold. And what's crazy, one mail shop owner who never panned for gold at all, he got rich selling shovels to all the gold miners. And I thought that was really interesting. I like the idea of women being able to have these opportunities because I like writing about bold, courageous women who take steps to change their lives and ultimately the lives of everyone around them. And I think this was a great opportunity for women in that time period. So I wanted to create a heroine who was a seamstress, and her name is Maggie McDermott. And I love horses. I have a horse, and I love putting horses into my stories as much as possible. And so I decided to make my hero of the story a man panning for gold. And his dream is to make enough money to buy the land for a horse ranch. He takes in his orphan nephew, and he gives his nephew riding lessons. And at one point, the nephew, who's having a hard time adjusting to this new situation and territory, he takes off on the horse and he can't be found. And so it's a fun way to bring horses into the story. I also like to weave in a little mystery and suspense into my novels to make them interesting and raise the tension. And so I do have one of the miners in the camp sabotage both the hero and the heroine and try to keep them apart and destroy their businesses. Then there are the dangers of mining and panning for gold that I really wanted to highlight in this story to show the risk that some of these men took in hopes of finding gold. Sometimes they had a lot of accidents on the job and people were killed. There were cave collapses, mine collapses. It was a very dangerous territory. And of course, this is a romance. So I love the fact that in 1850, the sight of a decent, single, pretty young lady was more rare than the elusive gold. When my heroine, Maggie McDermott, enters the camp, the gold panning camp, the men stumble over themselves asking for her hand in marriage. But the one man she hopes will propose is the one man who won't. Benjamin Freethy believes that he needs to make enough money before he can afford a wife. Can she convince him to change his mind, or will fate separate them forever? And finally, this leads to the faith thread. After all that Maggie and Ben have been through, all of the obstacles, the hardships that they faced, they have to ask themselves, can they still truly trust in God to provide for them and to see them through and trust in his plan for their lives, no matter where that leads? I use the Bible verse from Jeremiah 29:11 as the basis for this story. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And this forms the whole theme behind Golden Horizons. Can they still trust God no matter what? Sometimes it's easy to trust when things are going real well, but when everything falls apart and everything is taken away from you, can you still trust God's plan for your life? I hope you enjoy this book. It's available on Amazon and other online retailers. And be sure to hit like and subscribe to this channel for more story content, behind the scenes looks into upcoming releases, and fun chats with other authors.